Well, Jewish leaders continue to praise President Trump's move to recognize the Golan Heights as Israeli territory. One America's Jack Posobiec sat down with experts to discuss the policy change.
Very excited to welcome here on One American News Rabbi Moskowitz, the president of the Jewish Heritage Preservation Society, and Nachum Mostovsky of the National Council of Young Israel. Thank you so much for being here, guys.
Thank you for having us.
So, just attended your great dinner this weekend, and one of the things that you talked about there was President Trump's recent move to recognize Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. What is it about the geography of the Golan that makes it required for a strategic security of Israel?
Well, it happens to be an elevated plateau, which when the Syrians actually occupied the region until 1967, they would use that plateau to just fire rockets and Katyushas into Israel proper, down into the Galilee, and made the lives of the citizens at the time miserable.
We have seen the United Nations, other countries, many other countries that have condemned this, that have said Israel should give it back. What is the U.S.'s policy towards that now?
I think that the world on a national stage is going to, just as they did as we see that they were doing with Jerusalem, we're going to start to see that they're going to recognize the status as well.
What's the situation on the ground in terms of the people that are actually living there?
There's a thriving Jewish community there with thousands, if not over 100,000 Jews who live there, and there's a thriving cattle and winery industry in that area.
And we've seen this go back and forth where this is one of those areas, certainly with the borders of Israel, that's been a major point of contention for the region. Is this something where you could see that Syria or Jordan would maybe come up and want to try to push for some sort of agreement, such as you hear about the two-state solution? How does that play into this area?
Well, I think that the Jordanians, not so as much as the Syrians. The Syrians do view it as part of their, as part of the partition plan that was part of their land. But I think that Israel cannot afford to give that land over to Syria, especially due to the volatile nature of the region and the threat of ISIS, which is, although the president has removed it, and can always creep back and come to haunt Israel. And the Syrian government, Bashar Assad, is not really in full control of the country that he's supposedly the ruler of. And therefore, I don't think that there's any way that Israel should or will ever give up that region due to the strategic nature of it, as well as the historic importance of that region to the Jewish people.
And we've seen a lot of talk as well about the president's peace plan for Israel, for Palestine, the Palestinian territories. How would that play into that, any type of peace plan?
I think that the president hopefully will follow through with this plan, and he will use this as a stepping stone to whatever the deal that he shall do. It shall be one that it should secure Israel's interest in the region as well as the U.S. and not sacrifice Israel's security, which would harm the U.S., I believe.
One of the reasons why the Golan is so important, I mean, you can actually go there. I mean, while the heavy fighting was going on, you can go to the top, and we did last summer, and you can hear and see the rockets between the three sides that were there, that were fighting. I mean, it's calmed down a little bit now, but there's still shootings going on, but they're not actually firing rockets and things like that at each other. Israel really had nothing to do with this, except they were just doing humanitarian aid. So you had all of that. People don't know that Israel doesn't end at the Golan Heights. It actually continues after the Golan Heights. There's like some area afterwards that's flat, and that is where Israel set up these mobile hospitals, and they were seeing thousands and thousands of Arabs that were getting hurt. The Syrian and the Lebanese were not taking care of their own people. Israel was taking care of their people. No fee, free of charge. They got no credit for it at all, except from the U.S. I think Nikki Haley brought it up once or twice at the UN. But of course, the votes at the UN were happening, condemning Israel for the fighting that was happening in another country. It was their fault somehow. If they would just give back the Golan Heights, for some reason, somehow that would fix the issue.
Golan Heights is just another point where we find that the president is willing to discuss it. He's willing to put his pen onto the paper and recognize a new historic reality that literally changes the facts on the ground. I'm looking forward to seeing what else he will accomplish for this great nation.
Very well. Thank you very much for being on, gentlemen.
Thank you
for having us.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.